Hey there, Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 2034 of What You Up To Now, documenting the journey. Originally in 2017, I came online following my divorce, coming out of decades of business ownership, different type of businesses, different industries, while simultaneously spending over a quarter century in corporate America. Following my divorce, I had to divest myself of all my business interests with my ex-husband and other parties to move on with my life. And I was old enough to retire, but I didn't really want to. I'd always been curious about the internet, so I thought, I'm going to go online. I'm going to figure out what I can figure out. I'm going to see if I like it, if it's something interesting to me, if there's things I can learn there, and use them to create what it is that I want to create in the world, right? Because that's what we're always doing, is moving forward, trying to become a better version of ourselves. So today, I created a couple pieces of content, which I've been doing every day, probably since 2018. Trying to think back, it's been a long time, 5 years, right? 5+ years. And every day now I hop online and I share between 2 and back then it was 5 or 3 pieces of content, depending on what projects I'm working on. And now I've kind of simplified over the last couple of years, and I've rolled into just one annual challenge a year. And this year's annual challenge is the Get Your Goals Annual Challenge. And so I set that up using a framework that I use, a 9-part framework for setting goals and objectives personally, and I'm teaching that and sharing that with other people. And so each of 9 months, not January, because we looked at different frameworks and picked the one that we wanted to use throughout this year to install in our subconscious so it becomes automatic. Just like the SOAP framework we go over every month. We go over our process at the end of every month. But for 9 months of the year, we're covering each one of these areas and aspects of the life framework in good detail, so we can do something every day to move us toward what we want in each of those areas. And the cool thing is, we can do some things and make them automatic in our life that positively impact all the areas and aspects of our life. And I think that this month's focus, the focus on communication, is one of those. Every time we become a better communicator, it doesn't just impact our communication, it impacts all the other areas and aspects of our life. If we can communicate more clearly with our doctor what's going on with us, it helps our physical well-being. If we can communicate with our self-talk in a more positive way, that helps our mental well-being, our spiritual well-being, if we can communicate with other people better, it helps our relationships and all the other areas and aspects of our life. So I really like this area. I'm glad I added it in 2021. Following the pandemic, I added confidence and communication to my 7-part life framework, the one that I've used for decades. I think I originally learned it from Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins back in the probably 80s, late 70s, early 80s, probably early 80s is when I really started getting involved in it and learning about myself and personal development and things. So today, our idiom, and every day in my Supersize Your Business group, I share an idiom. What it means, where it came from, and how it can be used to grow and build and supersize our business. Today's topic for the annual challenge is humor and our communication goals. We talked about different types of humor, tips for adding humor to our communication, the benefits of having humor in our communication, and then also, there's a pitfall. People can be offended easily if we're not sensitive to the people that we're talking to, the audience, the person that we're talking to. I mean, I can share and be humorous and make jokes with my sisters that I couldn't make with my business associates or my coaching and consulting clients, right? Because it wouldn't be appropriate. And we have shared experiences, but I don't, and so we can think things are funny that other people would not even understand or get, and so they wouldn't think it's funny, and then we risk offending them. So our idiom to go along with that today was the joke's on you, and we talked about what that means and how we don't want the joke to be on us, right? But sometimes it is, and if it is, and we make a mistake, then we need to learn from that mistake so we don't repeat that mistake. So our action item today was, how funny are you? How humorous are you? And on a scale of 1 to 10, I gave myself like a 3, because I'm not particularly funny, except for my crazy hairdos that I don't mind wearing. I was going to make Princess Leia things, but I didn't. So how funny are you? Do you use humor in your communication? Could you be funnier? Could you find ways to positively use humor to communicate more clearly and effectively with people? Are you witty? Are you punny? My grandfather and one of my sisters should have been a comedian, because she is incredibly funny. She's very witty, has great timing and delivery, etc. My grandfather, my mom's dad, was super witty and funny, and so it runs in the family. Just I haven't cultivated it in my life, so maybe I'll find ways to be more humorous. Right now, I just use visual aids and props because that's easy for me to do, and I personally think it's funny. I don't know if other people do, but I find it humorous. So that's all I've got today. It's Saturday, big projects going on. If I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, go out, make it an amazing day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow just to let you know what I'm working on, what's going on. If you have any questions, please ask me because I'm here to be a resource. Have a great day. I'll be with you tomorrow.